Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Before I could start, I would like to thank Mr. Abu Talal Hamrani again for giving this opportunity to translate his stories in English. His YouTube channel is given below in the description box. Today's story is Stranger Than Fiction. This story took place in Britain. In 2018, a girl named Ghadir disappeared under mysterious circumstances. No one had any idea about where she went and her whereabouts. So, who is this girl, Ghadir? Well, Ghadir's father was born in Kuwait and was, as they say, bidun or bidun jinsiya, means without nationality. There are a stateless Arab minority in Kuwait who were not included in citizenship at the time of country's independence or shortly after that. In the year 1991, after the liberation of Kuwait, Ghadir's father immigrated to Iraq. He got married and was glorified with children. One of the offsprings were Ghadir. She was a pretty girl from a conservative and respectable family. After she grew, she also got married and was blessed with a child, with a girl. Her husband decided to travel to Britain looking for a job and to improve his living and lifestyle, hoping to find better opportunities. He had an uncle who lived there in Britain, so that he thought it would make things easier and would help him to find a job. Now Ghadir and her daughter were living with the family, in the family house, I would say, and the family house means the house of the father-in-law. And of course, the other family members, including his two sisters, which were no more than a group of trouble, were also living with them. They started having fights and disputes, and they went to their extreme when they accused Ghadir of having an affair with one of the neighbors. The complication here was one of the sisters. She began to scream and gathered people around, telling them or trying to embarrass and make a show out of this whole situation. The two families, their neighbors, gathered and brought the man which was accused, the man who was accused, with the girl, or Ghadir. Now they accused Ghadir of treason, of betrayal. When they gathered, they also got the help of the elders and other notables actually to try to solve this problem. They called out a council where there was a tribal session in order to solve the situation so that everyone takes their rights without problems which could lead to murder or revenge. Now during this, the father-in-law of Ghadir was also present in the session. The man who was guilty had no interest in the session whatsoever or started laughing and mocking. This here provoked anger in the father-in-law, and he was irritated and gave a call to his brother. His brother Karim arrived from Britain to Iraq specifically to attend this session. He asked his brother to get a weapon on his way to kill this man. Karim, upon his arrival, went straight away to the man who was busy mocking and shot him. He shot him dead. The people who were present started panicking and screaming. But he made it clear that if I have slaughtered one, I can slaughter more. So no one here would try to follow me. Karim went back to Britain, but things got more and more complicated when they were all ready. Ghadir's father-in-law and his entire family, including Ghadir and her daughter, escaped to Turkey. And from Turkey they left for Greece and settled there. Ghadir's family members, which were also in Britain, intervened to take their daughter back. At first, they refused, but after continuous pressure, they agreed to send Ghadir and her daughter to Britain. Well, Ghadir's husband gave her a divorce soon after the previous problem took place. After she arrived at the airport, and the one to pick her from the airport was none other than her husband's uncle Karim, who murdered the man in the tribal session. After 6 months, Ghadir's family members phoned her husband as to why she didn't arrive yet. What could be the reason? He claimed he had no idea, but they were confident that she entered Britain before 6 months and started searching for her, calling in Iraq, in Greece, and looking for her. They found out that Ghadir's daughter, who was 5 years old, was present at one of the family members of her ex-husband in Britain. They asked the girl where her mother was, and she answered that she has not seen her mother for a long time. They started pressurizing so that they could give the nod. Neither her ex-husband or Karim answered or helped in this situation, so they went and informed the British authorities. The British authorities began to investigate the matter of Ghadir's disappearance. The suspect, Karim, was a criminal, but he refused and he said he knew nothing. But later, he said that she did arrive at the airport, but he has not seen her ever since. The investigators found no evidence which could help them. But then, while searching Karim's house, they found a clue, or traces, I would say. After examining the DNA, these traces belong to that of Ghadir's. He said that yes, she had arrived at that time, but she left her daughter and ran away or disappeared. And here the ex-husband was sticking to his words that he knew nothing. They were quite sure it was a crime because for more than 6 months she didn't get in contact to anyone, not a single family member. Therefore, they were more than 90% sure that she was killed. But by who? Ghadir's ex-husband and his uncle did not confess. There was no strong evidence that could lead them to the killer. Or they could have killed her and hid her body somewhere. The case was not closed. Both the suspects were called for investigation on a weekly basis. The real shock of the story was still to come. Ghadir's father left Iraq with his wife and children. They went to Greece because after the man's death, who was killed by the hands of Karim, they tried to take revenge. But as her father-in-law left the country with his entire family, the only ones left were Ghadir's own family. And because their lives were in danger, they emigrated to Greece. After a year or so, one of the sisters went to the father and confessed. She confessed that the truth was that Ghadir was innocent and the story they created was fabricated, just because one of the sisters didn't like her. Just because one of the sisters' spitefulness led to a story which was fake, which was not real. It made people misjudge this poor soul who is still missing or maybe dead. One of the sisters was the one to ask the neighbors, the man there, to get involved in the house or get involved in the story by getting into the house, and that she would start screaming and blaming her of betrayal only for the sake of getting her into trouble. That was the reason he was laughing, because the thought of clearing the air by confessing that he was summoned by one of the sisters to do so, and he took it as a joke. But he had never ever seen, or He even knew Ghadir at a personal level. This is what hatred can lead to. Or families can get involved or kill each other. Women should empower each other instead of being so hateful and envious of one another. Women can be loved, they can forgive, they have the power, the strength, they can be successful, strong yet gentle and clean soul. But they can also be unforgiving, narcissistic, greedy, jealous, dishonest, manipulative, and much more. I would like to end this story with a quote. It hurts being misjudged. It hurts more if the person you thought trusted you misjudged you. Thank you for listening.